Canadian Tire Motorsport Park with Gary Grant, co-chairman of the Canadian Car of the Year Awards Association, AJAC.
So they really, decided they needed to do an annual awards program, and the first one, I think, was really a couple of dozen new cars, some journalists, a racetrack, and away they went. And now it's grown to the point where it's one of the top. We'll go for a spin here. It's considered one of the top vehicle testing events in the world, because it brings together all the new vehicles that are driven back to back on the same roads and the same conditions as their competitors, and it's all data driven, so everything is assigned a score, and it's really pretty cool.
So it's quite neutral, like
it's
you're not
very
gauging
neutral.
cars based on, prestige or things like that. You're gauging them based on their actual performance.
Yes.
So you're taking out sort of basically the name or what people stand for and just making it neutral.
Exactly.
And what happened here during the week? So you had a full week event.
Okay, so you've got, there's 43 vehicles entered. There are 3 of each version, like 3 of each of those entries are here, with over 80 journalists that come and spend their week driving and evaluating vehicles based on a combination of road drives and then a performance task of some sort that's aimed directly at that vehicle segment. So as an example, with a crossover or a sport utility, you would have a drive route out on the local roads, and then they come in and they do our off-road course, which is essentially like a sort of advanced cottage road.
Okay.
And it's what people might experience going to the cottage in the spring.
Okay, perfect.
And then they're evaluated to score their performance in each thing. So if something's has better off-road capabilities, then it'll score higher than something that's not. The week begins with performance testing, 0 to 60 numbers, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, 80 to 120 kilometers per hour, and then 100 to 0, so braking. And the idea there is that is giving us real world data that's recorded with telematics units. So what we're doing here is we're going to go on to a sort of an advanced cottage road to evaluate what a SUV or a crossover owner might experience on their way to the cottage.
This must have been pretty muddy on Wednesday.
Yeah, we ended up shutting this course down on Wednesday for a while, not because the course was too rough, but because it was becoming a little bit dangerous in spots. Because we want to showcase what the vehicles actually can do, as opposed to, people may never do any of this, but how much ability does that sport utility actually have? We've got a couple of smaller crossover vehicles that have much lower clearance, and this is a real challenge for them.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that goes into the evaluation process. If a sports car has a rough ride, it's because it's a sports car, you don't score it. You score it as having a rough ride. You don't say, oh well, it's a sports car, it's supposed to have.
Now, they're not timed, like
No.
the testing can be done at your leisure. So it's not
Well,
something
they do have, you know, there are time constraints so that we can get all of the vehicles that need to be tested within a certain period of time. So they typically will take 30 to 40 minutes on a drive route. Now we have another off-road course that's specifically aimed at pickup trucks, because I mean some of these turns are too tight for the big pickups, and so we use an old concession road that is actually very similar to a stage road, and it's there's been deep water, deep mud, and it really puts the trucks to the test. And it really shows the journalists what the owner of a truck might actually use his truck for, whether it's on a job site or anything like that. See, this is where modern technology is just fantastic. The fact that we can climb up this stuff with a sandy surface with all-wheel drive tire or all-season tires is just phenomenal.
It was a fantastic trip.
Thank you.
Fantastic. See, our students need to learn about this. Like, it's just, you know, it's not just like for, you know, us to come out and say, oh yeah, this is nice. They need to learn that technology is not texting, it's a vehicle, and what comes with that vehicle. Like, those roads were fabulous. You know, we would never think we could get on. Like, we drive a Land Rover an 05, but I don't think it would have made up some of those.
Oh yeah, it would.
You think?
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
Okay, so where are we heading now?
We're gonna come back up to where the cars are. I'll show you sort of. We'll do a quick tour of the road course.
And do you lay out this course yourself every year? Or
Yeah, this is our first year here, and so we decided to. I mean, these trails have been in use by race fans since the 70s, but in more recent years, those of us that do some event planning, we know that they're in there. So yeah, we'll go in and you can make it more challenging or less challenging as you need to. I mean, we've groomed, believe it or not, we've groomed that. I know it doesn't
really.
It doesn't necessarily look like it, but we were in there with a bobcat on Monday. Then we've got a handling course that the small cars and family cars use to evaluate the steering and braking capabilities of a vehicle. And then we have a high-speed performance track where sports cars, prestige cars can really be put to the test safely, so that journalists can evaluate the capabilities of these vehicles. Because I mean, we've got some pretty special vehicles here too, and there's no better place than on a course like this to evaluate a high-performance vehicle.
We'd like to thank Gary Grant, who's the co-chairman of the Canadian Car of the Year Awards, correct?
This is correct.
For taking us around some of the greatest tracks and some of the testing tracks today at Mosport.